This is Andrea. She is the autonomous learner. Looking at the autonomous learner, her bat is right above her shoulder with her hands right near her ears. Her eyes are looking at the ball. Her knees are bent in an athletic position, and her front foot is ready to be loaded. At contact point, the autonomous learner's eyes are still watching the ball. Her bat path is short and direct, and her hips and back foot have both rotated. With the follow-through of the autonomous learner's swing, her eyes are still on the ball, her hips are fully rotated, and the bat path ends above her shoulder. Once again, to begin her swing, the autonomous learner has her hands near her ears while looking at the ball. She also has her knees bent and her foot is raised to initiate the load. At contact, her eyes remain looking at the ball and her hips and foot have both rotated in front of her. The end of her swing shows her hips fully rotated and her bat on her shoulder while still looking at the ball. This is Mickey as the cognitive learner.
For the cognitive learner, although she does a great job at looking at the ball, her hands are well below her ears, her knees are locked, and not only is she wearing inappropriate shoes, she is not initiating a load. For contact of the ball, once again she is focusing on the ball, but her bat path is long and indirect and her hips and her back foot still remain square. For her follow-through, she is still looking at the ball. However, her hips are not rotated and her bat has stopped below her shoulder. From this view, you are able to clearly see her hands are below her shoulder. Her knees are not bent, she is looking at the ball, but her feet stay still. On contact, once again, she's looking at the ball, but her foot and hips are not rotated. At her follow-through, her hips are rotated slightly, her bat is just below her shoulder, but her eyes remain looking at the ball. After a couple days of practice, when comparing her old biomechanics, she is still looking at the ball. Her hands have gotten closer to her ears, and her legs are bent in an athletic position. She is now wearing appropriate footwear, and her foot is raised to initiate load. When comparing her movement for contact of the ball, she still focuses on the ball and greatly improves her hip and foot rotation along with a more direct bat path. Her movements for her follow-through improves the most. As you can see, her hips and legs are fully rotated, and her bat lands at her shoulder while still looking at the ball. From this angle, you can see that her legs are more bent, her foot is raised, and her bat lands higher on her shoulder. From this view, she improves the rotation of her hips, her feet are no longer flat on the ground, and she remains focused on the ball. For her follow-through, this angle shows a great rotation of her hips and her feet. Her bat path ends above her shoulder, and she stays focused on the ball.
These videos compare the autonomous learner with the cognitive learner after she has practiced the regulatory cues she's learned.